Hare Krishna. So we are continuing our meditation on the Lord's transcendental form. Today we will be skipping the pastimes of, not pastimes, or instructions of Lord Kapila Dev in the third canto of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, because of we'll have a Abhishek of Krishna Balaram today in Suchita's house, and so I thought it would be more appropriate to speak about Krishna and Balaram there. So we are speaking today about Kamsa's negative meditation on Krishna. And in the evening we'll speak of Akrura's positive meditation on Krishna. And we will see what are the results of what is the negative meditation on Krishna, and what are the results of those negative meditations. First of all, we have to say that Kamsa's meditation on Krishna was extreme. You know, there are people who don't like Hare Krishnas, and they try to, make them do something bad against Hare Krishnas. So they think about Krishna from time to time. But Kamsa was thinking always on Krishna, always on Krishna. Extreme. We know from the history and pastimes of His Divine Grace, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, that there was once 2 articles were published, 2 different newspapers at that time. There was this paper, were published articles about the Hare Krishna movement. Some outsiders were writing about the Gaudiya Mat at that time. So one article was very favorable. The man was glorifying Gaudiya Mat. And the other article was very, very unfavorable. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati read both of these articles, and he said, this article, which was unfavorable, is much, much better. And devotees of Prabhupada, he was also Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, Prabhupada, how is this better than the other one? He said, because look at this article, that unfavorable article. How many times is written Hare Krishna? Much, much more than in the positive one. This is the actual success. So somehow or other we have to think of Krishna. Rupa Goswami has written this famous verse, Yena tena prakarena mana Krishna niveshayet sarva vidi nisheda sur etayor eva kinkaram. Somehow or other one should think of Krishna. This is the goal of life. Somehow or other to think of Krishna. So Kamsa was very much thinking of Krishna. As soon as he heard this prophetic voice from the sky, Kamsa, oh you fool. This is sometimes Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is very funny. So you fool, Kamsa, you're actually very great fool. You're going to celebrate the wedding of your sister, but actually you'll die. From this very sister, she will give birth to an 8th child, and this 8th child will kill you. So from that moment on, Kamsa start having anxiety, number 1, and number 2, start thinking of Krishna constantly. He's thinking, oh, this child will kill me. Because everybody in the material world is there's a self-interest. And the highest self-interest is self-preservation, not to be killed. So, I mean, if you just walk around, if you go to the city, what is a city actually? What is a city? City is just lots of buildings, but what is a building? Building is an arrangement of self-preservation. That you lock your door. How many in big cities? I know I've not lived in London, but I can imagine I lived in New York. So they have not just one lock, but there's a lock, 2 locks, 3, sometimes 4 locks on the door, isn't it? I don't know, London maybe not. New York had sometimes 4 locks, because you don't know who can come at the door, Self-preservation. Everybody is interested in self-preservation. And why? Because people are uncertain of their future. They don't know what is going to happen. Whenever there's uncertainty, there's anxiety. Only crazy people or some adventurous people, they can do it. But mostly people are afraid because they don't know what's going to happen after I die. So Kamsa was one of those people. He was, of course, the king of Mathura, very powerful person. And then when he heard this, he started meditating on Krishna constantly. So Kamsa, as we know from Krishna book, on 10th canto of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Kamsa was sending different demons when he heard that the child was already born somewhere. He was counting how many children Devaki had. But then he found out that Krishna was already born somewhere. The child which is supposed to kill you has been already born and is somewhere in the area of Vrindavan. And Kamsa said, okay, I'll kill all the children in Vrindavan. Imagine the cruelty of it. So he sent all these various demons to kill the children. But somehow or others, these demons never came back to Mathura for some reason. And we know the reason. Krishna killed them all. As easy as sometimes the child breaks a mushroom. How difficult it is to break a mushroom? Pink. So Krishna just comes and says, oh, big horse demon. Oh, okay. Everybody was afraid. There's a coppery eyes and very dangerous horse. And Krishna said, oh, okay, come here. And he put his fist in the horse's mouth, and this fist becomes as hot as the fire. And the Keshi died there on the spot. And all the boys were like, oh, that's nice, Krishna, that's nice. So the boys of Krishna's friends, they had a good time. Every time, new adventure. Every time they go out to the field, they kill a new demon. Krishna kills a demon. They are so like, wow, Krishna killed another demon. So they were coming back home. They were speaking to everybody. Wow, Krishna killed this amazing demon of a donkey, ass demon, and everybody's like, how can such a small child kill this dangerous animal demon? This is not possible. The elders did not believe it because children sometimes speak nonsense or lie or whatever, So they think, kids. But kids had very good time with Krishna, killing all these amazing demons. So Kamsa, after seeing that they are not coming back, he sent another demon and another demon. Then he sent Arishtasura. Arishtasura is the bull demon. So Krishna killed even that demon. So when he heard this, Kamsa was furious. The demon Arishta is killed. So he did not know at that time, as we know, there was no information, newspaper, internet. So although Mathura was only 12 kilometers away from Gokula, Kamsa did not know exactly what happened. So at that time, as many times in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, and some very important moments supposed to happen, arrives who? Narada Muni. Narada Muni, as Prabhupada and his disciples called him, transcendental spaceman. Spaceman, you can travel anywhere. Imagine, people like travel, hitchhiking. There's a good book called Hitchhiking Through the Galaxy. But I don't think this person is physically able to do this. But Narada Muni is able to do it. He is even able to go to Vaikuntha planets all the way up to Dvaraka. Narada Muni can go all over freely. As we saw yesterday, and we talked yesterday about the freedom. The pure devotional service, the pure devotee is actually free. So much free that you can choose where you're going to go, how you want to look, what kind of services. You can choose anything you want. This is the absolute freedom, according to your taste. So Kamsa here became very furious, and he did not know what to do. He was thinking, I'm going to kill everybody now. He wanted to kill Devaki again and Vasudeva. So at that time, Narada Muni appeared and he said, you know what happened? Actually, what really happened, I can tell you, is that Krishna killed all these demons. And he narrated, meanwhile, in Vrindavan, Krishna killed this demon, And everybody was so jubilant. So Krishna went back to the village and everybody was so happy. The music was going on. The feast was going on. Wonderful thing. So Narada narrated all this to Kamsa. And when Kamsa heard this, he was very, very angry. Really, really angry. So, so interesting enough. So then Kamsa had another plan. I will bring Krishna and Balaram back here, and I will kill them here. So of course, this we know that Krishna cannot be killed by anybody, as we spoke yesterday. And also, the real reason that they say some devotees, acharyas, they say some devotees can get angry at Narada. Why would somebody get angry at Narada? Anybody has an idea? No, devotees. Because yes, but these babies, this is a karma. That this is the marichis. Just to have shortly get this material body and go back to the marichi look. So it's not like these babies is nothing, not a big deal. The big deal was taking Krishna out of Vrindavan. Because Narada Muni was telling this, and therefore here we have a Goswamis who say, therefore one should not hate Narada. So this is interesting, devotees. Although we know these are actually not stories, this is actually real thing. I heard recently a lecture of Bhakti, His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Swami, who says, what is this song? Hari Hara Nama Krishna is out, but this is a song that Vrijbasis don't like to hear. Hari Hara Nama Krishna Yadava Namaha Gopala Govind. Why would Vrijbasis not like to hear this song? The same story. Hari Harai Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Brijbasis don't like this Yadava thing. They like only stay here, stay here Vrindavan. Don't go to this Dwarka. This is Yadava. This is Krishna in Dwarka. The Brijbasis don't like to hear Yadava. So in the same way, Brijbasis don't like when Narada came and after his revealing what really happened, Kamsa decided to bring Krishna and Balaram back to Mathura, or to his kingdom. So therefore this Acharya says here, therefore one should not hate Narada. The reason is that Narada Muni is a great devotee, but also he's a great mystic at the same time, because every great devotee is a great mystic. So he could foresee all this that will happen. And Narada was very much eager to actually see these pastimes of Krishna, killing. And so this was the reason why Narada did all this. Because devotees are impatient to actually wait for the pastimes to happen on its own. So he said, okay, let me do quick. I want to see this darshan of Krishna and these pastimes of Krishna. So, a little more about Kamsa, since we're talking about his meditation. Kamsa was just about to kill, he was thinking, I should just kill Devaki. But then he stopped himself and was thinking, I cannot kill her for several reasons. First of all, it is not Shastric. Kamsa was believing in Shastra, believe it or not. But the deeper reasons is that because she's a woman under his protection, this is completely ashastric, You give protection to somebody, and then you're a kshatriya, and you kill a woman who is under your protection. And then Kamsa thought about this. He said, if I kill her, my reputation, opulence, and duration of life will be certainly finished. So this was his concern, really. This is the concern of a materialist. Reputation, opulence, and duration of life. So Kamsa was very concerned about these things. If I kill her, he didn't care if he kills or not, His real concern was himself. So this is the sad story of everybody in this material world, very concerned about themselves. We, ourselves, are very concerned about ourselves. So therefore, when Srila Prabhupada came and brought this message, Sarva Dharmam Parityaja, that we have to give up everything for Krishna, it's not so easy. You just suddenly have to give up everything. But wait a minute, if I give up everything, what will be left for me? As I mentioned also when I was, some years ago, when I visited my parents for the first time, 14 years I left the country. That was a long story, and I couldn't return for some legal reasons. I avoided the army, so on and so forth. So after 14 years I returned, and I finally, could see all my friends and everything. And so my father asked me, so what do you do? So in the Hare Krishna movement, because in the I'm a Hare Krishna. And I explained, I managed the temple, we did this and did this. And he said, this is all nice, you manage the temple, you build this and that, but what is there for you? He wanted to ask me, what is in it for you? I said, for me is that I get the mercy of Krishna. And he said, yeah, but do you get any money? So this is the in the heart of every materialist, what is there for me? As we see here, the Kamsa's meditation was, what is there for me? And again, Kamsa was worrying about his duration of life. If he kills Devaki, then his duration of life would be reduced. But also, if Krishna kills him, his duration of life will definitely be reduced. So he was concerned about all these things. Interestingly enough, the Jiva Goswami said, when Kamsa was angry on Devaki, he said, the senses of Kamsa and his mind became agitated. The Kamsa's mind, the Kamsa's senses. I said, this means that person or Kamsa has lost all power of discrimination. So this is you can say, interesting thing. Srila Sanatana Goswami comments on this verse, that Kamsa, that materialist, actually whose senses are not controlled, agitated, whose mind is not controlled, they have a difficulties to have a power of discrimination. I'm just saying this to all devotees, when we listen to this, we should also think, do I have a power of discrimination? Are my mind and my senses also disturbed? Maybe, maybe not. So, this is now, we are coming to this famous, the Kamsa became so fearful of Krishna, and we come to this famous verse, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 10:2-24. While sitting on his throne or in his sitting room, while lying on his bed, or indeed while situated anywhere, and while eating, sleeping, or walking, Kamsa saw only his enemy, the Supreme Lord, Hrishikesh. In other words, by thinking of his all-pervading enemy, Kamsa became unfavorably Krishna conscious. Haribol. Unfavorably Krishna conscious. How does that work? It's a paradox. But this is, again, sometimes we are also unfavorably Krishna conscious, but somehow we go on. So again, this is a very, very deep verse, you can say. Of course, every verse is a deep Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So, while sitting on his throne means he was very busy. Sitting on a throne of a king, there's so many things to do. And he would think of Krishna. Imagine, you're doing something and you just think of Krishna. You cannot think of anything else. I mentioned this verse actually in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna calls Arjuna, he uses this word, Gudakesha. And Gudakesha means, Prabhupada says, Isha means conquer, and Gudaka means sleep. One who has conquered his sleep. So imagine, you don't need to sleep ever again. And he said the reason why, because Arjuna was constantly thinking of Krishna, Mam Anusmara, constantly thinking of Krishna's form. So Kamsa reached the same stage. Imagine sitting, while lying on his bed, he's lying in bed and thinking of Krishna. While situated anywhere, anything he did, he was always thinking of Krishna. Imagine this, how do you say, horror of Kamsa, and he was thinking, oh my God, I have to think of Krishna. And he would sit there and he would think of Krishna and only think of Krishna while eating, sleeping, or walking. Even while sleeping, he would think of Krishna. So when I was reading this, I was thinking, wow, this is actually, I wish that I can do it like Kamsa. So I'm saying that Kamsa's negative meditation became extreme. This is the most extreme example. You have a Hiranyakashipu, he hated Vishnu, but it was not like this. This is like extreme thinking of Krishna. So Prabhupada says there in the purport that in this verse that although Kamsa was Krishna conscious, he is still considered enemy of Krishna. So it's not like if someone is, thinking of Krishna that he is a friend. It can be unfavorable thinking of Krishna. We were recent 2 years ago, 3 years ago, we were in Switzerland, in Zurich. And the devotees organized, I think it was 50 years or 40 years. I think 50 years of the temple, something like this. Celebration, 40 or 50 years existence of the temple. I think 50 anyways. Or existing the yatra in Switzerland. So Krishna Paramarupa Prabhu invited some outside people who were familiar with the movement for some years. There's some professor for some university. There's some other person. There was some magazine writer, and there was one, particularly what I want to speak is about, he's a Sekten expert. He's expert for cults, different cults. So he was sitting there, so he, everybody spoke something about Hare Krishna movement, professor, very favorable, interesting enough, all these people, favorable about the Hare Krishnas. And then his turn, and he's looking and he said, I brought this bag. And inside of this bag, every single article since the beginning of the Hare Krishna movement in Switzerland until today, he collected in newspaper, anywhere it was written about Hare Krishna. He said, I have you all in here. But he was actually in the end very favorable, isn't it? He said what he would like to see, I would like to see a woman to be a temple president here in Zurich. That was his desire. But he became, we spoke a little bit after, not much, but a little bit, but he was quite all right. But the point is, that imagine 50 years or 40 years of his career, he's thinking about the Hare Krishna movement constantly. Not like Kamsa, but some people think about the Hare Krishna movement. If he has all the articles about the Hare Krishna movement in his bag, so imagine he was reading and he would think, oh, this is about Hare Krishna. He would read. And another professor who was also there, he's not a devotee or anything, but he wrote his master thesis on the Hare Krishna movement. And he knows everything. Nitya, we were speaking. He knows, he knew everything about the Hare Krishna. In this article in 90, Ravindra Sarup said this. He knows whoever said what year, professor, We were like, wow, he knows more than 95% of devotees, the details about ISKCON and everything. He knows the philosophy. He knows everything about the Hare Krishna movement. But he's not a devotee at all. So I just want to mention there's different kinds of meditation. Although one may be Krishna conscious, because he regarded Krishna as enemy, even though he's fully absorbed in Krishna, he is not favorable. He's not considered to be a devotee. This is what Prabhupada says. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in this commenting this verse, said, Samvisha means while sleeping. This is like a very high stage of yogic meditation, to think of Krishna while sleeping. So Kamsa came to this position to think of Krishna while sleeping. This is amazing. When we sleep, there's a period of consciousness, and then 6 hours or 5 hours, nothing, dark, and then we get up. Sometimes we may dream or something, but not much. And Kamsa was thinking, while sleeping, he was thinking of Krishna. Wow, we can say. And if wherever he looked, he would see only Krishna. Sometimes they say when people fell in love, wherever you look, you see him or you see her. But Kamsa saw Krishna everywhere, wherever he looked. He says, such a vision, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, when you actually see Krishna everywhere, Samoham Sarva Bhutashu, one who sees me everywhere sees everything in me, Krishna says, I'm never lost to him, means Krishna is always with this person. So such a vision, to see Krishna everywhere, is a blissful, and it gives prema. Such a vision gives prema to a devotee. So when we see Krishna always, we will achieve Krishna prema. Haribol. But Kamsa, on the contrary, because he was unfavorable, such a vision brought him only distress. So as much as devotee will get prema, the non-devotee thinking of Krishna in an unfavorable, inimical way will get only distress. Hare Krishna, I cannot stand them. But they think about Krishna. That this gives them distress. And Vishwanath concludes that this is the difference between the vision of an enemy, of a non-devotee, and a demon, and vision of a devotee. So devotee gets Krishna prema from seeing Krishna everywhere, and non-devotee gets more distress. Haribol. So the conclusion is better to be favorable to think of Krishna. Why should we be unfavorable to? Because Krishna conscious devotee, when one favorably execute devotional service, makes one, Prabhupada says, happy. This is the result of a devotee favorably executing devotional service. Makes you happy. Haribol, we're happy devotees. And on the contrary, if somebody offers, Prabhupada says, karmis, I hanker to be promoted to the heavenly planets. But Krishna conscious devotee thinks this promotion to the heavenly planets, as he uses this very specific word. This is the old English saying, will o' the wisp. Anybody knows? You don't know what will o' the wisp is, huh? From England? No? Will o' the wisp is is actually describing some ghostly lightning. This is some kind of in the forest. There's sometimes some artificial light, some ghostly thing. It's actually like unreal. This is some expression. So, or Prabhupada says, or good for nothing, meaning this so-called enjoyment in the heavenly planets is considered to be some imaginary light which you don't know is it really good or not. Not even interesting at all. And yogis also try to control their senses by doing yogic austerity, severe austerities. They also try to be happy. But because they're neglecting the Supreme Lord, they cannot ultimately be happy, Prabhupada says. And Prabhupada, sometimes again, Prabhupada could be very, very humorous. And he said, for a Krishna conscious person who is cultivating Krishna consciousness favorably, the happiness conceived by karmis, jnanis, and yogis is treated as less than a fig. There's one fig, and he said, I don't care about a fig. So this is a little funny thing. So it says that because Kamsa was constantly thinking of Krishna, his whole existence becomes very uncomfortable. Imagine you're very uncomfortable because you are constantly thinking of your enemy, Krishna. So on the other hand, Srila Prabhupada gives example of our acharyas, like Goswamis, who lived very, very comfortable life in their, they were very high position in the government. Indeed, Rupa Goswami or Sanatana Goswami was, when the king, this Muslim king, was going out of a kingdom, he let Sanatana Goswami rule the kingdom. Imagine such an important position of Sanatana Goswami. So meaning he had lots of money, he had a nice living. This is the point. Rupa Goswami also very educated, rich. And then when they met Lord Chaitanya, they left everything And as we know from the Sat Goswami Astaka, they were sleeping under one tree, different tree every night, not to be attached. We all like to be, we just saw in Köln, under our window, there's one tree, and one bird was there. Actually, two birds. I guess they're parents. So they had the little eggs there, probably somewhere in the tree. So they was standing there, always watching. So even a bird gets attached to a particular tree. This is my tree, or this is my area where I fly. I don't think that birds are just going anywhere in the forest. They have their own area, and that's it. But Goswamis were so detached, they said they did not want to even stay on one same tree in the evening. Go to next tree. And the reason, did not want to be attached to anything in this material world. So how can Goswamis, here Prabhupada asks, how can Goswamis live like this, under a tree without possessions? Also in Vrindavan, in wintertime, it's very, very cold. And they were only going in one little gamsha. Nothing to dress. So Prabhupada says here, they did not care about their positions of a minister. He was happy beneath a tree in Vrindavan because they favorably serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the difference between a devotee and non-devotee. For a non-devotee, this is a punchline, the world is full of problems. The world actually is full of problems. If you just turn the TV, so much problems, so many. And news somehow, they never put some good news. There's always some problem. And people watch this. Oh, this is what happened. Somebody stole something, and then you're watching this and creamy, things. Nobody says, today there was a very nice air in Jandelsbrunn. Very fresh air. And we saw a squirrel happily jump. Nobody is writing in news, Süddeutsche Zeitung. I don't know what is the news here. The squirrel was very happy. They have a new baby squirrel. Nobody will write this. So this is the difference between the devotee and non-devotee. For the materialist, the world is full of problems, whereas for devotee, the entire world is full of happiness. The reason why the world is full of happiness is not because the world is happiness, but the reason is that because Krishna, devotee sees Krishna everywhere in this world. He perceives Krishna everywhere. So therefore, devotional service should not be executed unfavorably, as Kamsa did, meditating on Krishna in enmity, but the devotional service should be done in a favorable way. This is the very famous verse and very important verse in the Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Anya Bilasita Shunyam is also quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Jnana karma dinavritam anukulyena krishnanu shilanam bhaktir uttama. Anukulyena krishnanam shilanam means the devotional service should be done favorably to Krishna. And that translation goes, when the first class devotional service develops, one must be devoid of all material desires. So first class devotional service means no material desires anymore. Knowledge of, also no material desires, no knowledge obtained by monistic philosophy, by impersonal philosophy, and fruitive action, meaning no, we don't develop knowledge or we don't do devotional service because we want something in return. I want to whatever, make money of devotional service. As Prabhupada quoted his Guru Maharaj, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, they said, the such and such people, they have an altar, but they keep Shalagam Shilas to crack their nuts. You buy walnuts and you have a Shalagam Shila, because at that time they didn't have this machine, whatever, to crack nuts. So they take the Shalagam Shila and tick, 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 so they can eat some nice walnuts, pistachios, whatever. So this is not the purpose of devotional service. The purpose of devotional service is this: devoid of material desires, knowledge obtained by monistic philosophy and fruitive actions. The devotee must constantly serve Krishna favorably as Krishna desires. So then it is a favorable devotional service. So it would be interesting to see if Kamsa would think about this verse and he would say, okay, let me think favorably of Krishna. What would happen actually with the history of Mathura and Vrindavan? Prabhupada says that the criterion is the devotee must know what Krishna wants him to do. So we have to know what Krishna wants us to do. And how can we know what Krishna wants us to do? Prabhupada concludes, the understanding can be achieved through the medium of a spiritual master who is a bona fide representative of Krishna. So by having a spiritual master, devotee can favorably serve Krishna. I remember once, many years ago, one devotee, I didn't see him a long time, so he came to Vrindavan. I was living in Vrindavan, and he came and he grew a very big beard. He said, do you think Guru Maharaj will be pleased to see my beard? I said, I don't think so. I mean, you can try it, but I cannot imagine. I'm using this example because we have all kinds of ideas what is pleasing to Krishna. Why would gurus be pleased if you grow a beard? I said, why? I asked him, why do you think that he would be pleased to see you wearing beard? He said, I don't know, it looks good. Because I guess it feels good. He had this curly beard, so I guess it feels good when he touched it. I don't know. So we have this idea of what Krishna consciousness should be. But, again, it has to be done favorably. So the way Krishna desires. And Prabhupada gave, very standard process, which we don't need to speculate too much. The temple life is, if you just live in temple, you're automatically inside the machine, which forces you to think favorably of Krishna. You have to get up for Mangalarti, you have to take a shower. Imagine, you live in the temple, you don't take a shower for 2 weeks. Haribol. Nitai Gora Haribol, everybody's like, oh my God. You lift up your arms. Not favorable. All these things, what we do is a favorable thing for Krishna consciousness, although we may not sometimes understand. Why is a new clothes or tilak? What is this? Why do we need to wear a tilak? All these things are favorable to Krishna consciousness. Why we shave or whatever, so many different things we do. Favorable. So Prabhupada says, this is the meaning of the word anukulyena. A pure devotee has no plans other than those of the Lord for the Lord's service. No other plans. This is the pure devotee. So therefore, when we worship pure devotee or we give something to pure devotee, we know this will go to Krishna. This devotion, what we do, sometimes they say, oh, I did so much for you, or whatever, so much for ISKCON, and what do I have? You actually you did favorable devotional service to Krishna for many, many years. And this will stay forever, eternally engraved on your soul. He did so much favorable devotional service. No other plan than plan to serve Krishna. Prabhupada says he is not interested in attaining success in mundane activities. Whether, we know the verse from the 8th verse of the Shikshashtaka, Ashlisya va padaratam pinastamam, adarshanamar mahatam karotuva, yatha tata va vivadato lampato, mat prana natastu saeva naparaha. That actually this is the verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, verse spoken by Srimati Radharani, who says that I am not at all concerned. You'll stay my Lord, birth after birth, favor unconditionally. Whether you make me broken-hearted by not be present before me, or whether be you present or not, I will just stay your servant eternally. So this is the very high level of actually surrender to Krishna. And on the end, Srila Prabhupada concludes, interesting enough, that for this to be favorably, the person who lives only for the satisfaction of Krishna, it does not matter which order of life that person belongs. We have 4 orders of life, spiritual orders, 4 material orders, sannyas, vanaprastha, grihastha, brahmachari. We have Vaishya, Shudras, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas. It does not matter, actually, as long it is favorable, because this person lives only for the satisfaction of Krishna. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in his very unique style, very simply, in small sentence, he describes Grihe tako, vane tako, sada hari bole dako. Means whether you are grihastha, whether you are vana in the forest, sannyasi, just chant Hare Krishna, and this is it. Sada hari bole dako. And this is the perfection of life. More, the Kamsa was, of course, killed, we know, at the end. Krishna came to Mathura and he was defeated elephant, big elephant, Kuvalayapida. They defeated Chanura and Mushtika on the wrestling arena. And then Krishna jumped to the audience and dragged Kamsa down by the hair. And he punched him in the chest and killed him. This is described in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, in the Krishna book. But Prabhupada says it is not necessary for God to come to punish us, actually, punish you. This was the great mercy of Krishna that he killed Kamsa personally. And interesting enough, Prabhupada says here, Krishna came to punish Ravana, Kamsa. He said, because they are not ordinary. Ravana and Kamsa are not ordinary demons. They're extraordinary demons. And therefore, Krishna came to kill them. Otherwise, Krishna can just use his material energy and get us killed. There's no need to him to come and, Paritrana, Sadhanam, Kalki Avatar comes and kills the demons. Krishna just gives a disease or old age, and you get killed anyways. But, he said, in this way, this is interesting, this way there are different grades of punishment. First class punishment, second class punishment, third class punishment. They're all punished, but some of them are first class, some of them are second class. So ultimately, all the non-devotees somehow get punished by material energy. But if you have first class prisoner, as Prabhupada called it, meaning these are not ordinary demons, Krishna punishes them himself. Krishna kills these demons. So that's nice. So we should be best at something. Either be best demon or no, of course not. But the point is that this, again, Kamsa is not an ordinary. We know the history of Kamsa. It's not an ordinary person. These are the actual devotees, extraordinary devotees. So Krishna dragged Kamsa, and Krishna killed Kamsa in the end, ultimately. And what happened then? And then Krishna, because when Krishna was going up there to the stairs, when Kamsa was sitting, his parents become very afraid. So just see that Krishna in this moment, he was thinking about his parents. He was going to kill Kamsa, but he was thinking, my parents are very afraid of me. I want to show them that I'm all right, like a child, So he brought the Kamsa, killed him, and he said, drag Kamsa all over the arena so that his parents can see he's dead now, no more problem. So in Krishna, in such a moment, he's thinking of his parents. Such a nice relationship. And then what happened? The 8 brothers of Kamsa, 7 brothers of Kamsa, this is 8 sons of Ugrasena. I will just mention them. I never actually remember their name. Kamsa, Sunama, Nyagroda, Kanka, Shanku, Suhu, Rashtrapala, Drishti, and Tushtima. These are the brothers of Kamsa. And they were, amazingly enough, equally all demonic. They're also demons. So they attack Krishna. So Krishna could not kill them. Because ultimately, they were his uncles, So he could not really kill them. Kamsa was an extraordinary case, it said. Goswami is also in commentaries. So Krishna, instead of, he didn't know what to do now. They were attacking him, but Krishna did not fight them because it's ashastrik. So who attacked him? Balaram. because Balaram is not connected, Revati is not connected, he's not a relative of these brothers. So Balaram just killed them all immediately. So this was the story of Kamsa killed due to his unfavorable devotional service. And so sometimes, at times Prabhupada says that Kamsa merged into Brahman, impersonal Brahman. But sometimes here, there's a quote from the Nectar of Devotion, that Kamsa attained, he said about the demons, this is from the Nectar of Devotion, he said, impersonalists and the enemies of the Lord, because of the attraction to God, allowed to enter the kingdom. But they are not allowed to enter the Vaikuntha planets. So, but here we say the Kamsa, because somehow he was very favorably looked upon by Krishna, that he attained Sarupya Mukti. Sarupya means he attained the same bodily features as the Lord. We spoke about this yesterday. The different devotees attain different forms, or they choose different forms to worship the Lord in the way they like, what is in their hearts. So the Kamsa actually, with all this enmity and everything, actually he got a good deal, because Krishna is very merciful. We also talked yesterday how Krishna was on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. All the enemies, both sides on Kurukshetra soldiers who died, they actually attained the liberation, because Krishna was present on the battlefield. So Krishna was kind to even the enemies, proving that Krishna is not biased. Krishna has no preferences. Of course, Krishna favors his devotees, but he is not, neglectful of the demons. When he kills the demons, or as in this case of Kurukshetra, people die in his presence, they also attain liberation. So it's very nice. Krishna is actually very nice. Very nice person. He's God and he can do whatever he wants, but he's still very nice. So, so this is a little bit about Kamsa, about meditation, how he meditated unfavorably. And then on the end, that says here, materialists, Prabhupada says in the first canto of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, 8th chapter, 36th verse, materialists like Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, Kamsa, Jarasandha, and Shishupala were highly qualified personalities in this material world. They're very qualified. I mean, they were kings. King is not some stupid person. Or, any manager who manages big thing is an intelligent person, able person. He says, but they were unable to appreciate the presence of the Lord. So I was thinking that you actually to appreciate Krishna or to serve Krishna favorably, we have to have a spiritual intelligence. And Prabhupada says here in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, spiritual intelligence is one, but mundane intelligence is diverse. Mundane, we spoke yesterday, so many people do so many things, so many desires in the material world, but spiritual intelligence is only one. There's a one goal and one goal only. It is stated that those who are captivated by the temporary beauties of the external energy forget the real aim of life, which is go back to Godhead. So spiritual intelligence is this and this only. What is there for me to go? How do I do? What do I do? How do I think to go back to Godhead? And all our spiritual intelligence is based on this. Interesting enough, we don't need to be a big scholar. It's nice to be a big scholar, but you don't need to be a big scholar. You don't need to be a big anything. You just have to have this desire to go back to God and direct your life in such a way to go back to God. As simple as that. That's all. This is the spiritual intelligence. And one tries to adjust things by various plans and programs. So we try to adjust our life in such a way that we can always make sure that not forget the goal. I'm here to go back to God, and not for any other reason. And Prabhupada says, This program of chanting and following the rules and regulations will give you spiritual intelligence for understanding Bhagavad Gita and the other scriptures too. So this process, how do we get spiritual intelligence? By doing this process. Chanting and following the rules and regulations will give us intelligence. Meaning that you cannot somehow be spiritual intelligent. You have to actually apply this process. So this is, I think, all I wanted to say today about the unfavorable meditation on Krishna, which is Kamsa. What is the achievement? Why did he meditate unfavorable? Because of selfishness. And the achievement is that he got killed. But because he was specially meditating, nobody can meditate on Krishna so much like Kamsa. Many devotees cannot compare to meditate on Krishna, to see Krishna everywhere. So therefore, Kamsa got special deal. He got even liberation, as Prabhupada says here. He got Sarupya Mukti, the same bodily form features as Vishnu. So, as devotees, we should always understand this, that we should always think of Krishna favorably. By thinking of Krishna favorably, we will get favorable result. And for this, how to think of Krishna favorably, we have to have a spiritual intelligence. And by practicing this process, we'll develop our spiritual intelligence so we can not make too much mistakes. We all make mistakes in the material world, but not too many. All right. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Okay, so if you would have any question or comments by the senior devotees here. Yes. Du kannst auf Deutsch fragen, wenn du, ich weiß nicht, oder auf Englisch, was du willst.
Thank you for your lecture. When Kamsa did nothing favorable, no devotional service, but thought of Krishna all the time, and by that he got
Liberation.
The liberation. Did he? But he did not come to Vaikuntha. No, he cannot have the kind of liberation which devotee has, or not.
Yeah, I'll read it to you. No, he cannot. They said that usually the demons, they get Sayujya Mukti, means they merge into the effulgence of Krishna. It's impersonal liberation. Because they're envious of Krishna as a person, so they get liberation to don't associate with the person, but still liberated from material existence. But Prabhupada says here, according to the opinion of the authorities, Kamsa attained Sarupya Mukti after death. That is to say, the same form as Narayan Vishnu. On the Vaikuntha planets, all the inhabitants have the same bodily features as Narayan. So Kamsa was an Ausnahme. And Kamsa was an exception of the demon who got actual liberation to go to Vaikuntha. So he's the very special person. But still, we should not call the devotees Kamsa Das, you know. Because I'm Kamsa Das. Oh, nice. No. Yes.
Does this liberation he got brings his soul forward on the process of?
No process. There's no forward. It achieved the ultimate destination. He achieved Vaikuntha Loka. There's no more soul going anywhere.
Okay.
He went to Vaikuntha Loka and he's liberated from material existence. Special deal. You know, sometimes you have a special deal, you know. Günstig, Rabat, you know, whatever. 75%. Wow, special deal. Let's buy it. Yeah, Prabhu, behind you wanted to.
Yeah, I was also thinking because Kamsa is the third bird, no?
Sorry?
Kamsa is the third bird of Jaya, no?
Yes.
Yeah, so that wasn't not already like predestined that he would get Svarupya.
Yes.
Because that was his previous form anyways.
Yes.
So
it was predestined, yes. But still, you know, for the sake of
Lila.
For the sake of Lila, yes. Yes, Gopi Gita.
Yes, Hare Krishna. I was thinking Kamsa was so intensely meditating on Krishna for many years, and we know Nashta Prayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Seva. When we have contact with either the devotee Bhagavat or Bhagavat, the book Bhagavat, which is not different from Krishna, then we get Nashta almost completely purified. So I was thinking, how is it then that his attitude did not change after some time? Of course, it's Leela, but maybe you have some reason.
Due to the envy. Envy was so big. He was bursting now. He was saturated with envy. So his envy defeated Krishna consciousness. It's always, it says, a battle between good and evil. So evil wins. He was so unfavorable, so hating Krishna, and this envy did not allow him to get purified. Just like us, or some devotees, we know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. We know we should give it all up. We know it's good for us to go back to God. And still, somehow, we have a sense gratification. It's not good for me. Why am I doing this? Isn't it? And in the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna asked Krishna, how is it possible that we, although we know that we should be thinking of you all the time, somehow we are engaged in material activities and our mind is somewhere else as if by force, somewhere else. How is this possible? And in the root of all, Krishna answers in the next verse, Kama is the lust. It's the lust only, Arjuna, the great enemy of the people in this world. Because in the ultimate issue, everybody in the material world, there's this basic drive which is called lust. And this lust can manifest in so many different forms, but it is ultimately an ultimate act of selfishness. Lust is the ultimate act of selfishness. And so therefore, if I'm so selfish, I cannot, even if I think of Krishna, I cannot get purified because I somehow think I am somehow better. Okay.
Thank you.
Gopikita.
You spoke about spiritual knowledge. I suppose there's one way, of course, of attending classes and learning about Bhakti Yoga. How about practical spiritual knowledge? It just is a bit of a loaded question in times of where young devotees can easily be side-led by, there's abuse that sometimes goes on. So how does one apply spiritual knowledge in sort of practical
You mean how
dealings?
to... Yeah, I understand, okay. Yeah. Prabhupada says, if you want to be cheated, you will be cheated. So, if you have a proper attitude, that I want to actually Krishna only, then even if something happens, Krishna will protect us. Even if we are not intelligent to see it. Because sometimes we are not intelligent, many times, we are not intelligent to see it really. If somebody says, I saw this long time ago, nobody's seen anything. This after something happened, they say, oh, I saw it 90. Well, no, nobody has seen it. It's just, but if we have our honest attitude and our simple attitude to actually desire to serve Krishna, Krishna will protect us. The whole Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Gopakumari is such a, lovely character, you could say. If you read Brihad Bhagavatamrita, a lovely character. And why? Because it's very simple. Yesterday I was mentioning when he came to Vaikuntha and he saw a four-armed person and everybody's glorifying him and he immediately bowed down. He said, oh my Lord. And they say, I'm actually also servant of Vishnu. I just look like him. And Gopakumari said, oh really? Simple, village guy, And then he saw another even bigger worship. Probably the disciples are worshipping Guru in the form of spiritual form, we don't know. So another person, and he said, oh, this must be, and again he went bound, that person said, no, I'm not a Vishnu, I'm not Vishnu. And Gopakumari, where is he? A village boy. So this innocency, meaning, and Krishna Krishna preserved it. Krishna saved him in many situations, and Krishna directed him to come to him. But he had this. We have to have this innocent approach to Krishna consciousness. And then Krishna will protect us. Even if we are, as you said, neglected or misused, and it's Krishna's arrangement, ultimately. We have to stay, stay and don't go away, somehow or other. Stay and don't go away. And year after year, when you see sometimes, I know, for example, one devotee, I saw he recently died, left his body. I don't know from which country, I think he's from Spain or Argentina, I don't know, Spanish speaking. And I know this devotee from the 90s. And I never spoke to him, but I know his face. And I'm sure he knows year after year, I see him every festival, in India, and in Radhadesh, and you see this face, same face, year after year after year after year. So this is the goal of life. After 40 years, we come with this stock, how you say, walking stick. Haribol, Madajivan, Madajivan, oh, Haribol Johnson. After 50, we are 90 years old with the sticks, Did you read the new book of, oh yeah. So this is the goal of life, actually. Stay in the movement. And how to stay, to stay in the Krishna consciousness movement, of course, there's so many factors, but the most important, I think, is just to have this innocent approach to Krishna consciousness. Just to be, okay, I'm a devotee of Krishna, and honest approach. And Krishna will save us with all this, because material world is full of dangers. So many different things are happening. But Krishna will save us from all of this. Krishna will, direct us somehow to pass all these obstacles. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, you'll be able to pass all the obstacles by my grace. By Krishna's grace. And Krishna will carry, what is the verse? Ye yoga kshemam vahamiham anandas chintayantam yam ye jana paripasate tesham nitya bhayuktanam yoga kshemam vahamiham. Krishna says, whatever you lack, I will supply. And whatever you give, I'll take, even if it's imperfect. So that's I think. Okay? Algo más? Anybody speak Spanish here? Yeah.
I was once in Bali in the temple for the Masai, and I had a mustache, and everybody called me Hamsadas.
But Arjuna had a mustache. So you could call you Arjuna also. Mother Jivan Prabhu. Here's Mother Jivan Prabhu.
I would like to add something to your answer
Yes.
for Gopi Gita question. Actually, Krishna is explaining this in Bhagavad Gita 10:10. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam payantite.
He gives the intelligence.
I'm giving intelligence if somebody is sincere in service in me.
Yes.
Of course, this is different kind of intelligence that we see in scientists and so on. Yeah, but this verse is, how to say,
The key.
a key, yeah, and this encourage us to do our duty, do our seva to the Lord, and Krishna will take care about everything. This is coming to my mind.
Jai. Intelligence key, Jai. Kamsa key, Jai. I mean, he's in the spiritual world right now. He's looking probably at us. Haribol, that was me there. Okay, anything else, or should we wind up for today? And tonight, if, I don't know, did you read my message? Okay, so your mother invited us to me and us to the Abhishek. So we're wondering, because there's a lecture at the same time, and then Balaram promised that that can be broadcasted live from there. So if that's okay. That's why today I changed the topic, because I wanted to afternoon to speak about Akrura's meditation on Krishna and Balaram. Oh, yeah, so exactly. So we can speak about Krishna and Balaram. Yes, Ramananda Prabhu.
There was just a question. You mentioned this, I think, yesterday in the evening as well. Again, and today again about this, the form where we serve the Lord in the spiritual world. We have to kind of. It sounds. I'm always confused. Do we have to choose this form, or is this form somehow or other predestined in our? So, I mean, how much influence do we have of our form?
Srila Prabhupada explains in one of the purports, and he says, we will get various bodies, spiritual bodies, according to the soul's nature. So, this is now a little bit esoteric, and also we don't, in our Sampradaya, there's not much description of it. But the point is that each Sampradaya, either the soul, this is the question, what is the older, egg or a chicken, Either the soul is already attracted, or by cultivating spiritual knowledge in certain Sampradaya, we get certain attraction. According to Chaitanya Charitamrita, Brahmanda Brahmite Konya Bhagavan Jiva, Guru Krishna Prasada Paya Bhakti Lata Bija. This word Bhagavan means one who is very fortunate. And I asked this several scholars, even non-ISKCON scholars who deal more with different shastras, which we don't, more like esoteric shastras. And they said that this word Bhagavan is actually, means just that, fortunate. You're just fortunate that we met a certain guru. That we are just fortunate that we came to a certain sampradaya. And every sampradaya has their own Ishta Devata, their own goal, worshipable deity, and our sampradaya's worshipable deity is Radha and Krishna. So this is the goal of our sampradaya. And now in between, here and there, as we know from Murari Gupta, was worshipping Ramachandra and so on, we can still, according to our soul's natures, how does that work? This is a thing too esoteric. I have my opinion, but I will not say it in public.
Because sometimes devotees, they're getting confused, or we hear sometimes comments that say, well, in ISKCON we don't worship Nrsingadev. So, and when you worship Nrsingadev, you go to Vaikuntha. You become like Nrsinga or Vishnu Bhakta.
And what is wrong to go to Vaikuntha? First of all, it's a liberation from the material existence.
Nothing, but we would say, of course, that our Sampradaya deities are Gonitai, or Radha and Krishna.
Yes.
And, of course, then also Krishna Balaram in one sense.
No, actually not. Our Sampradaya's Ishta Devata is Radha and Krishna.
I know, but
Gauranga is Radha and Krishna.
But when we see Gonitai, then it's kind of the Vrindavan expansion of Gauranga Nityananda is then Krishna Balaram.
Yes, so
and
this
maybe
is the
that's
point.
Also the reason why Prabhupada installed them in Raman Reddy.
Yeah, this is so many reasons why Prabhupada installed them. Personal also reason, we should not neglect the personal reason of Prabhupada. He had his own reasons. But the worshiping, if you have in Mayapur, actually, Bhaktivinoda Thakur installed Lakshmi Nrsimhadev. Lakshmi sitting on the lap of Nrsimhadev. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains that Nrsimhadev is there to actually clear the obstacles or to enhance our possibility or ability to develop pure devotional service to Radha and Krishna. So it's not like we worship Radha and Krishna. We worship in Nrsimhadev. Again, absolutely glorious to go to Vaikuntha Loka. You liberated from material existence, Like we should, in material world we have this concept. This costs 2 euros and this costs 5 euros. So this what costs 5 euros is better, whatever, better quality. But spiritual world, there is no such a thing. Vaikuntha or Goloka, this is the same. And because Prabhupada many times interchanges the word Vishnu, Krishna, Krishna, Vishnu. This is the same thing. It's a Vishnu Tattva. So, by worshipping Nrsimhadeva, we may go to Nrsimha Loka if we have this attitude. But as I see in ISKCON, I had this, again, argument with quite some devotees, in Vrindavan especially, about this same topic, And my argument is that what we do in ISKCON is actually not actually sadhana bhakti. What we do is the immature stage of, prema bhakti or, bhava bhakti. But because, as Prabhupada says, this is a green mango, it's still a mango. So, because we worship in Radha and Krishna, our main deity is Radha Krishna, we chant Hare Krishna. We don't chant, Ugram Vira Mahavishnu, all, 16 rounds of Ugram Vira Mahavishnu. We do chant, naturally, sometimes, especially maybe here more, but our chanting is the Hare Krishna mantra, and Hare Krishna mantra brings prema, as we read in the morning. In order to quickly achieve desired success, Krishna prema, and everybody's like, this is actually the goal of life, Krishna prema. So chanting of the Hare Krishna brings not only liberation, but it brings Krishna prema just by chanting. So we don't do ordinary, you can say, sadhana bhakti, as the other sampradayas who actually want to achieve Vaikuntha lokas, they do sadhana bhakti. Our mantras, we worship in Tulsi. What are we singing every morning to Tulsi Devi? Hey Nivedana Daro, Sakir Anuga Atakoro. Make me one of the Sakis, gopis. This is our prayer every morning to Vrinda Devi. Please make me a gopi in Vrindavan. So this is not, we don't do, so as I said, we do this in immature, we are doing this prema bhakti in immature stage. We are immaturely doing it. And if you really see the logo, I actually did one whole lecture on the logo of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's Gaudiya Mat. It's a very interesting topic, actually, logo of Gaudiya Mat. On the right side, you have Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Radha and Krishna, Brihad Mridanga, Mridangas, what else is there? Hare Krishna mantra, I think. And on the left side, and in the middle of it is Lord Chaitanya, of course. On the left side of the logo is the Lakshmi Narayan, sadhana bhakti, puja item, yes, exactly. So this is actually describing, we go on 2 tracks. We got it, in reality, our track is this track, Prema Bhakti, Bhagavat Marga. But we are doing it because we are in immature stage. We are using this other marga, which is sadhana marga, to actually perform this prema bhakti at this moment. So when we worship Radha and Krishna, we don't worship Radha and Krishna in spontaneous love like Goswamis. We don't take Krishna and keep him in the bead bag, like Srinivasacharya, Julan Thakur. He kept his Krishna in the bead bag. It's pretty cool, huh? Krishna in the bead bag, But we worship him as Lakshmi Narayan with all opulence and everything. But we actually worship him Radha and Krishna in all opulence to help us to come to this opulence. So the same way, we worship Nrsimhadev in that same way. If we have a mentality of worshiping Nrsimhadev in this sadhana way, we want to achieve Nrsimhadev's form in Vishnu Loka, Vaikuntha Loka, then we'll go to Vaikuntha Loka. Everything is a matter of attraction, of a matter of consciousness. This was my answer to these many arguments I had. And usually there was no, how do you say, not defeat. Because you cannot defeat it, tell us that we're practicing sadhana bhakti to go to Vaikuntha while we are chanting Ei Nivedana Daro Sacinandana Gatakoro. Vrindavana Vasi, make me one of the residents of Vrindavan. Yes.
Because you mentioned that we're doing it, but we're doing it immaturely.
Yes.
But still our focus is to just trust in the process, and we continue, because some traditions, of course, they focus on doing Raganuga sadhana to develop consciously,
Yes.
But our approach is, let's say, innocent. We just pray for it, and we follow the process, and we are, you could say, we expect that the result is more or less a surprise in one sense.
Hope for the best.
Yeah.
It's a little late. Are you still tolerating me? Okay. It's in the Jaya Dharma, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explained there are 2 paths to achieve Krishna Prema. One path is the path of Gopal Guru Goswami, and later on followed by Dhyana Chandra Goswami. This is our, Gopal Guru, everybody knows, famous devotee of Lord Chaitanya. So the Gopal Guru style, Gopal Guru is, as you said, developing. They offer this Siddha Pranali. They offer this, meaning the Guru tells you, he is a very advanced Guru, and Guru tells you, in your spiritual form, you are a gopi named, what's it, on G, Govinda Dasi, whatever. This is your gopi name, you know. And then your clothes is blue with, you know, stars on it. You're 11 and a half years old. Your father's name is this. Your family is this. You live in the Yavat village. Your house is, you know, number 75. Whatever, you know. I'm exaggerating. So this is the Guru gives you this Ekadashi Bhava. And then you meditate, and your service, your eternal service, Nitya Seva, is to, I don't know, decorate the Krishna's bowers where Radha Krishna enjoy. You decorate this little grove. So this is your service. So you meditate when you chant your rounds, when you do, same as we do, sadhana bhakti. You meditate on this, you chant your rounds, and you meditate how do you decorating, although you are not. It's just an impression on the mind. So this is the one path. And Bhaktivinoda also received this initiation, actually, from his guru, Vipin Bihari Goswami. But on the other path is the path of Raghunadas Goswami. Raghunadas Goswami path is the ecstatic chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. So we are following this other path. In ISKCON, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, also we follow the path of ecstatic chanting. We chant Hare Krishna mantra, we do devotional service, and ecstasies will just come one day, and we will not be able to, you know, control ourselves. And this will be depending completely on Krishna's mercy. So there's two different paths, and we follow this one. This is our path. And this other path is many, Bhaktisiddhanta was very much against it. Yeah. And because it's not realistic, people in this age, their minds are not so steady to do this, and also there's lots of pretense and so on and so forth. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur gave this path also. But our path is this, chanting, and then by chanting and ecstatically serving Krishna, Krishna will reveal in the book called Ragavartman Chandrika by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. It is described that Krishna will either our Guru will reveal what is our next stage in Raganuga Bhakti, or some of the Acharyas, who is our eternal Guru, Sadguru, will come to our dream or whatever vision, or if nobody, then Krishna himself will come and tell you, you know, do this. This is what I want you to do. So we have nothing to worry. You know, when we are ready, everything will be revealed to us. You know, all these people would say, oh, we didn't get enough, or, you know, they're actually not practicing seriously process. If you're seriously practicing process, you have a trust in Krishna. Krishna will show me one day. Why wouldn't he? Lord Chaitanya did not come to liberate 5 people in this material world. He came to give Krishna Prema Pradayate to everybody. So why wouldn't he give it to us? Okay, this is enough. Srila Prabhupada ki Jaya.